Hello, my name is Teresita Blanco, there's your sister, and today we're going to be discussing the 5 most difficult bosses of Hollow Knight Silksong. There, in the number 3 spot, the one that I struggled a lot with was the Bell Leader. You fight this boss right at the start of Act 3, and you really need to defeat him, otherwise you won't be able to otherwise you won't have access to the fast travel in the game. So it's really why if you want to make it to like the final boss, you really need to tackle through this one. It's not one that you can just like ignore or put a pin on it later. And with this one I ended up losing a couple of times, like roughly like 15 times before eventually bringing him down, because he shackles you to the side, and then if you get too close to the edges his little legs hit you, and then there's the top and the bottom version that are both attacking you, and then he doesn't there's not a lot of room to maneuver around him, so I found it very difficult and stuff. And also the tools against him, even the little bugs that I use against it, they didn't help at all. It's just one of those get good type of bosses. The next one that I wanted to talk to you about is technically a 2-for-1 deal, is the Clockwork Dancers. I actually had a more difficult time with the Clockwork Dancers instead of the Clover ones, mostly because of when you actually go fight Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Is that when you first fight them, you don't really have a lot or mostly when I first fought them, I didn't have a lot a lot of tools and stuff, or even charms, or even HP to handle them, and their attacks are very punishing. And since they start first very slow and then they pick up a lot of speed, it messes with the tempo of you when you're fighting them. So yeah, like this one's and also it's a very long boss fight, cause like you first gotta clear the first 3 stages, and well, the fourth one is kind of like just you fighting one in a slow down pace. But this one's with their weird little attack pattern as they speed up. It's a decent difficulty spike for those that prefer to have the boss have a steady rhythm, either fast or slow about them. I just found it difficult, that's all. Then the one that holds the number 3 spot in difficult Hollow Knight Silksong bosses for me is the first sinner. This one starts immediately like going at full throttle with you. It's not one of those bosses where you at least get like 5 seconds in order to consider your next jump. No. You gotta like be immediately like reacting to it. Otherwise, the spider chick is gonna drain all of your HP in one barrage or flurry of attack. Like, another thing that's difficult about her is that, like Hornet, she has the ability to heal. So when she starts like healing, she does like that. That needle attack that from far away where she starts like healing. So if you don't like get in there and stop her, then the boss fight is gonna like last forever. But so that's another thing that's difficult about her. Is that at least to my memory, it's the only boss that heals itself, but only like the first stage. Well, I guess unless if you count what's that one, the plasma fight boss. He's immortal unless if you had the right tool to defeat him. But that guy didn't make it in the top 5 bosses list because I figured out the gimmick behind it very quickly. So it's mostly a gimmick boss and not like a difficult boss. The second one, the one that holds the number 2 spot for me is the Last Judge. I literally have entire 2 streams of me losing against this hulking beast over and over and over again. And it's not just that the boss itself can like easily one-up you. It's that since it's like such a huge target, it doesn't give you a lot of room to like maneuver around him. And also, whenever you lose against him, you start at the other side of the planet. So you can't, you don't have, unlike the first sinner, which you can try her out very quickly, immediately, to get through the last judge and to make it to her. You have to like every time you lose, you gotta like pass through a huge platforming section that can easily wiggle down all of your resources. So it's just a challenge just making it there. And that's what adds to like the difficulty spike of this one, you know, like a big hulking beast, very small room to maneuver, and like devastating attacks that like completely block you off. Oh, and also like something else, like after once you defeat him, she starts like exploding, so you can get into like one of those double death scenarios, which is something that almost happened to me like the first time that I actually managed to like defeat her. She started like exploding, and then it almost like shipped away what little bit of HP I had left. So that's something else to consider once you get to the last judge. She explodes in the end, which is very cheap. And of course, the one that holds for me the #1 spot is Lost Lace. That one took me like 30 and 40 tries to like defeat her. I just spending my entire weekend just fighting her over and over and over until I got her. It's one of those well, as it rightfully should, like the final boss of the game. It makes sense that it should be the hardest boss in like the entire Hollow Knight Silksong game, you know, really giving the true meaning of final to the word final, and it's not just her combos and all that stuff are difficult to stop. It's that it's just a very long boss fight, and I can only like maintain like the good hyper level, like focusing on fighting a boss for like a short amount of time. So it just really wears down on your like gaming stamina to fight a boss that just won't quit. That lasts roughly 6 minutes. But you'll be like, oh, it's a boss that lasts 6 minutes. Get back to me once it's 5 Raven Beak, and then you know the true meaning of suffering. But yeah, Lost Lace. Also, like in her final, in like her 4th or 5th or 8th stage, she's like she just starts like throwing a bunch of like homing attacks while she teleports all over the place, and it just getting lucky in order to defeat her. And I did kind of get lucky with the last hit on her because she had landed a hit on me, and then because of the ice memory crystal, it did the final hit on her. So then that's how I was able to defeat like the Lost Lace. But yeah, these are my top 5 most difficult bosses of Hollow Knight Silksong. I hope you find it literally amusing. Bye bye and God bless.